Hey everyone, welcome to July and to our XLM weekly report. It's been a rough day for markets and a rough couple of weeks for Stellar. So if you're just here for our 7-day rating, it's a sell this week. Now, if you're new, we make these videos every day, and these videos provide a high-level overview of our Gold Light research reports. Every Monday through Friday, we publish a new research reports. Monday is XLM, Tuesday is EOS, Wednesday is the overall industry review, Thursday's Bitcoin, and Friday is Ethereum. If you want the full report for today, it's in the doobly-doo below. So, my name's Vikram. I am the COO of TradeCypher, and I'm our Gold Light editor. My fun fact for the day is that I like Star Wars a little too much. And that's a fun fact because it means you're going to get some Star Wars puns today. And I'm sorry in advance. Let's take a look at our agenda. So our agenda today is 4 bits. We're going to talk about XLM in the news. We're going to talk about technical analysis, see why the prices did what it did. We're going to look at sentiment and see what people have been saying about Stellar. And as a special bonus for everyone who is watching this video, we're going to cover our last week's in review. So in other words, we're going to look at our recommendation from the previous XLM report and see if we were right, if we were wrong, and talk about why. So, Stellar's had a rough couple of weeks in the news. First, Facebook launched its cryptocurrency Libra, which is essentially just coming after Stellar in so many ways. We'll talk a bit more about that in just a second. Second, Jesse Lund, the head of IBM blockchain partnerships, ended up leaving, and he was sort of the person who was behind IBM's partnership with Stellar. Neither of those are particularly good things for Stellar, and we'll talk about both in greater detail in just a moment here, but the takeaway is that the price for Stellar is down 20% in the last week, which is not great. So let's talk about our Interstellar conflict between Libra, XRP, and XLM. So Libra is a cryptocurrency launched by Facebook and announced on June 18th. Libra has a potential user base of 2.6 billion people because that is the extent to which Facebook has taken over the world. There's a reason I called them the Death Star. Libra is going to allow people to send money at low cost across borders and basically to anyone, anywhere in Facebook's network. It's going to be a payment token on a bunch of different apps, and in general, it's a pretty big deal in crypto. If you want to know more about Libra, we've been covering it in really great detail in the last couple of industry reviews, and I've also provided links to both of those in the description. So now, what's XLM? Well, XLM is intended to be a global financial settlement layer. In other words, it's intended to allow people to transfer money across borders quickly and at a low cost. I'm guessing that sounds pretty familiar. There's another one of these currencies that we don't talk about a bunch called XRP or Ripple, which performs a very similar function. Now, the details on XRP we're going to kind of gloss over here, but if you want the full version of how XRP fits into all of this, you can read the full report. So, Libra has this massive advantage over anyone else, and that is, one, it's backed by Facebook, which means it has a potential user base of 2.6 billion people. And that basically means neither of these cryptocurrencies are going to be able to compete with Libra in the retail user space. There's just too many people, and it's got too much of an advantage. Libra also has some pretty good partnerships with MasterCard and Visa and Spotify and Uber, so they've got the retail market on lock, even though they haven't launched and we know barely anything about their platform. On the other hand, XLM isn't quite dead yet. They haven't been taken out fully yet because they have a couple of key advantages on their own. First, XLM is technologically superior to Libra. That is, it provides a faster transaction rate, and that really matters to banks. So XLM has a big advantage when talking to institutional customers like big banks and big investment firms and things like that, because they're going to care a heck of a lot more about the speed at which they can do transactions. Similarly, we covered this in our weekly report as well, but Libra is very US-centric, And that means it might struggle to bring in customers that are more global. Companies in Africa and Asia may want to go with Stellar because they see Libra as serving their competitors' interests. And in fact, Libra's affiliation with Facebook may hurt it in China. China, of course, infamously blocks Facebook from its citizens and within its borders. So if you're on Facebook and you're a Facebook-based currency, that might hurt your ability to gain traction in China. And of course, China's a market of 1 billion people. Now, Stellar's doing a lot of things to keep themselves alive, and they're trying to build partnerships with institutionals. Their institutional arm is called Interstellar, and we talk about one of those efforts in more detail in our daily report. But let's dive in on pricing. So at time of writing, Stellar is barely holding on to 10 cents. And that's sort of a key support level, because if it breaks below 10 cents, it's going to fall all the way to 8.5 cents, which is going to be the year-to-day low. So this is not a great time for Stellar, and it's a big part of why we're giving it a sell recommendation. Now, if you look at the red line on your screen, number one, that's a pivot level at 11 cents. A pivot level in technical trading is a level where it tells you what's going to happen next based on how the price interacts with that level. In other words, if the price gets to and breaks past 11, we could definitely see it recapture 12 and maybe even keep going from there. But if it can't do that, and it can't do that soon, the support immediately below that 10-cent support, is probably not holding either, and we're down for all the way to 8.5 cents. We don't think it's likely that Stellar's price is going to beat 11 cents in the near future, and that's why we give Stellar a sell rating. Unfortunately, sentiment analysis doesn't really have any good news for Stellar either. We see a spike in mentions at point number 1, and this corresponds with the announcement that Jesse Lund, head of IBM Blockchain Partnerships, was leaving IBM. This affected Stellar because Lund was very much the person who drove that partnership and managed it. So it's unclear what his departure means for Stellar, and the markets have responded to that uncertainty by having prices kind of drop as a response. If we move all the way to point number 2, however, we're now at a low for news. And that might mean the market has moved on from this story and is just kind of waiting to see where Stellar's price breaks next and what announcement Libra makes before it decides which way to move from here. All right, so let's move on to our last section, our bonus section, the last week in review. So last week, when we looked at XLM's price, we said that if Stellar failed to hold its supports above 12, and those are lines 2 and 3, that it would fall all the way to 10. And that's exactly what we saw, and that's why we gave Stellar a sell recommendation. And indeed, that's exactly what happened. Stellar started at 0.126, but has fallen all the way to just above 10 cents. I think this really goes to show that technical trading as an analysis method definitely works, and it's the primary way you want to look at crypto investment in the short term. That brings us to the end of this video. We are currently in what we're calling our Gold Light preview, and that is we're making Gold Light research free for absolutely everyone until July 9th. And right now, if you sign up for a year of Gold Light, you're going to get that for 35% off. And the link to do that, of course, is below in the description. We'll be back tomorrow with our EOS weekly report. I hope everyone has a great day.